Uh, Hello everyone. My name is Takayuki Fukumoto, as known as the Papix. Please call me Papi. And I'm just studying English, so I cannot use English very well. So sorry. So please forgive me if there is some rude. I use Perl in my work, and I am a board member of Japan Perl Association, which is Perl users community in Japan. By the way, I attended YAPC EU 2015 in Granada. I am very happy to attend again. In this talk, I would like to about two topics about Perl in Japan. First topic is web service development. I introduced how we use Perl on the scene of web service development. The other topic is community. I introduced status of Perl community in Japan and JPA's approach to accelerate local Perl community in Japan. My first topic is web service development using Perl in Japan. About 10 years ago, many engineers used Perl in their work in Japan. At that time, some popular SNS and portal service were using Perl, and many study sessions were held by some Perl community. So, 2028, JPA was established. But now, in 2019, Perl is not popular programming language in Japan. There are some reasons. Around 2010, some all-in-one web application framework like Ruby on Rails became popular in Japan. I think that is one of the reasons of them. Now, many Japanese engineers use Ruby on Rails, PHP, Go, Python, Scala on their work. Especially, static typing language like Go and Scala are very popular. So, many Perl codes were replaced to other languages. But we are using Perl now. JPA is still active, and they support Perl Monger and Perl community in Japan. I will talk about this in the next section. And some companies are still using Perl. My company, Hatena, is one of them. In this section, I would like to introduce a little bit of my company and talk some techniques when we use Perl. As you know, Perl is used all over the world. But I don't know much about the Perl and Perl community. I don't know much about the Perl and Perl community outside Japan. I know only Japan. So I want to discuss with you about common and difference point with us. Now, I would like to introduce our company, Showtime. Our company, Hatena, is founded in 2001. Hatena means question mark in Japanese. By the way, do you know Flipnote Hatena? That is application for Nintendo DSi. This is include our company name, Hatena, because we participate in development. Our service is, I introduced our service at first, Hatena Bookmark. This is a social bookmarking platform in Japan. This service is similar to Reddit, Hacker News, and Dacious. We developed it for about 10 years using only Perl. However, developing gradually became difficult because code is getting more and more complicated. So we replaced this service Perl to hybrid Scala and Perl. This slide, my engineer said this. Engineer explain detail in this slide. Second, I'd like to talk about Mackerel. Mackerel is server monitoring source. This service can replace of Zabbix and Nagios. All our services use Mackerel as monitoring and infrastructure management tools. This service uses Scala and Go, but some tiny script is used Perl. And Hatena Blog. I belong to Hatena Blog developer team. This service is a self-publishing blog service. WordPress, Tumblr, Medium are similar services. It was released in 2011 using Perl. I'd like to show you our technology stack. First, of course, Perl is used in this service. Hatena blog is a monolithic web application using Perl. However, nowadays, we also use Go and Scala for developing subcomponents of our blog. And the JavaScript and TypeScript is used for front-end. We use MySQL, Redis, and Memcache as a data store, and use Nginx and Varnish. We try to use IaaS and SaaS as much as possible. So we use AWS and more services like GitHub, Slack, Mackerel, Sentry, and Jenkins. To take your product easier to image, I'll show a code size for you. Perl is written about 130,000 lines, and test code is written 20,000 lines, and JavaScript written about 43,000 lines. Next, I'd like to talk about our philosophy. We believe that minimize the code to read by developer is good for us. So we don't use existing web application framework like Modulicious and Amount2. Because when I encounter a problem with web application framework, I have to read many web application frame codes. So we build very tiny web application frame-like function using several simple CPAN modules like plug, router simple, TextXLate, and JSXS. In addition, we don't use convenient object relational mapping module ORM like DBIX class and class DBI. We use DBIX Sunny, that is simple DBI wrapper written by Kazebro. Our philosophy is introduced by Choyongo's talk in YAPC Asia. Next, I want to talk about useful tools we use in development of services. At first, Smart Args. This module written by Tokuhiro. He is very famous Perl hacker in Japan. This module provides functions argument validation. Let's see synopsis. In func2, two variables are declared, p and q. A scalar variable p expects integer, and the scalar variable q also expects integer. But a scalar variable q is optional. This func2 can be used following code. Next, I will introduce to AWS X-Ray. Do you know AWS X-Ray? AWS X-Ray analyzes our production service. Analysis results are available for debugging and performance tuning. For example, AWS X-Ray can trace process time, externality request, and executed SQL query and fetch the logs. Awesome. But AWS X-Ray supported language and frameworks are C#, Go, Java, Node.js, Python, and Ruby. AWS doesn't provide X-Ray SDK for Perl. Don't worry. Fujiwara realized AWS X-Ray on Perl. He used these modules for that. At first, develop KYT prof, that is a lightweight profiler for Perl. This module written by Onishi. He is, by the way, a co-founder of Hatena, and he lives in Kyoto. So I think that he named KYT means Kyoto. Usage of develop KYT prof is very simple. You just use develop KYT prof on your code. This is an example of profiling about external HTTP requests using for. We can know that URL of request is papix.net, HTTPS papix.net, and process time about 120 milliseconds. Develop KYT prof can profile these modules. Of course, you can write any profiler for develop KYT prof. Next, AWS Ray. This is written by Fujiwara. This is simple SDK for AWS X-Ray. And this module don't execute, this module don't execute profiling because Fujiwara planned connect WKYT Prof and AWS X-Ray. AWS X-Ray use sampling result of WKYT Prof. So he write WKYT Prof logo X-Ray, and this module connect both. Moreover, Fujiwara writes plug middleware X-Ray for profiling using WKYT Prof and AWS X-Ray. At last, we can use AWS X-Ray on plug. Let's take a look at profiling results on AWS Web Console. In AWS X-Ray, one place is one HTTP request for web service. AWS X-Ray trace 10 trace per minute. In addition, some traces recorded access to data store, Redis, DBI, memcache. This is detail of trace. DBI. So we can know this request has many data store access. In addition, we can see sanitized query and fetched rows. Cool. Next, I like to talk about app PLT. This is refactoring tool using PPI. We can replace any package, subroutine, and variable name. For example, let me see an example. Now, I want to message PM to replace sample message PM. Message PM is that, and sample PM is this. This code use module use message PM and execute message method. Let's execute PLT command and replace message PM. PLT rename underscore class message sample message. Then message PM becomes sample message. And look at code PLT command execution. After code PLT command execution, all message replace sample message. PLT command replace not only message PM file name, but also module declaration code and execution code in sample PM. Next, I talk about CPAN Nissan. This means Super CPAN Bros in Japanese. This is a simple web service that displays CPAN module needing update. One funny point, this service is written by Ruby, because this service author loves Ruby. We can know how many CPAN modules are latest, and each module's current version, current version, and the latest version, like this. At last, I'd like to introduce about app CCU. This is experimental CPAN module written by Akiyama. App CCU provides CPAN check updates command. If you execute it, you can see renewable CPAN modules and those changes like this. This is a HTTP exceptions change log like this. And others, we use many useful CPAN modules like this. I want to talk about them, but I don't have time to explain in detail. If you are interested, please check using MetaCPAN or come to hear me. And next topic, I would like to about Perl community in Japan. As mentioned above, Perl is not popular language in Japan, but some people still use and enjoy using Perl. I introduce what are we doing for Perl Monger in Japan. At first, we organized JPA, that is Perl user group in Japan. Some Perl community, some Perl companies participate in JPA and they nominate board member. Our activity costs are supported from some sponsors company. Our mission, JPA had two missions. First, we operate YAPC Japan, that is the largest Perl conference in Japan. And second, we support some local Perl some local Perl communities. Until 2015, we operated Perl conference at YAPC Asia. After that, we rebooted at YAPC Japan in 2016. YAPC Japan is operated by JPA staff and some volunteer staff. YAPC Asia was mostly held in Tokyo, but YAPC Japan was held in some cities like Hokkaido, Osaka, Fukuoka, and Okinawa. YAPC Japan is YAPC Japan is a little smaller conference than PerlCon. We held that 1 or 2 times in a year, and holding period 1.5 days, half size than PerlCon. Our conference is attended 200 people and 20 to 30 speakers. One of our efforts is support for students. When some students want to attend YAPC Japan, but they may struggle about cost of attending. So JPA invites some students and provide costs of attending because we want them to know Perl. When we request for proposal of talk, sometimes we accept proposal not related Perl, because we define YAPC Japan as a conference, Perl and some topics related Perl. For example, infrastructure, team management, security, and programming education. I think this is one of the characteristic points of YAPC Japan. Of course, YAPC Japan has many advanced talks about Perl. Takahiro Shimizu's How to Build Traditional Perl Interpreters is one of them. He taught this in YAPC Tokyo, and he got a 3rd prize in Best Talk Award in YAPC Tokyo. He speaks next day in this room. By the way, I want to tell you about schedule of next YAPC Japan. To tell the truth, schedule has not been released yet in Japan. Next, we will hold YAPC Kyoto 2020 in 27 to 28 in March. We are just preparing now. If you want to attend this, I want to support you. I'd like to introduce 2 more topics. First, a local Perl community in Japan. There are some PMs in Japan. JPA also supports these communities. For example, when they hold study session, JPA detach a famous Perl Monger. In addition, JPA supports operational costs of their study session. Last topic is Perl entrance. This is introductory class of Perl. We teach Perl to inexperienced people. For detail, I spoke in YAPC EU 2015. Please take a look at this slide. Conclusion, I talk about current state of Perl in Japan. I think we have many things in common on differences. I want to interact with you about them. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.